Welcome, guys, to this evening of questions and answers between yourselves. My name is Mohammed. I'm the peer mentor coordinator at Inspire Lancashire, and we're here to celebrate Alcohol Awareness Week and really raise awareness about a very important topic. And I've got with me my peer mentors who've got questions for each other. So I'll kickstart by handing it over to Johnny, and Johnny can introduce himself, and then off we go. Thank you, Johnny.
Hi, I'm Johnny. Thanks, Mo. After an on-off struggle with alcohol for much of my adult life, I returned to Inspire in October 2019, following my third and most life-threatening relapse. Alcohol Awareness Week meant absolutely nothing to me in the past. Quite simply because I knew what I was drinking, but I didn't know why, and I never considered how much I was drinking and where that was leading me. Eventually, it became too late, and I ended up in a terrible state. Alcohol awareness is now critically important to me, simply because I understand that it offers people who are in the least bit concerned about what they're drinking and why they're drinking should reflect perhaps on that and seek help if they're concerned. So I think it is very, very important as an awareness week. Will, I wondered what your feelings were about Alcohol Awareness Week.
Yeah, well, Alcohol Awareness Week kind of reminds me that there are people out there struggling with alcohol problems, but there is somewhere to go. We can go to Inspire to find help, or we can go to our local doctors to find help, as I did. And there is definitely help out there, and it reminds me of it, just Alcohol Awareness Week. I think it's really important to try and get the message out there, because I don't think a lot of people actually know about the week. Anything that we can do to help, we should do.
Yeah. Craig, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, similar really. I think there's probably a lot of people sort of suffering in silence, not aware that there's the help out there, and maybe there's still a stigma attached to it as well. People maybe afraid to go and get help, so putting the awareness out there that there's people like us who've been in that position and been into treatment and recovery, hopefully will encourage other people to follow the same path.
Mm-hmm. Darren?
Yeah, I mean, it was something which was never really of interest to myself. One of the main reasons why is because I really didn't think I had a problem with it, and even though I got told by health advisors that I was slowly killing myself, I didn't believe them, because in my eyes there wasn't any underlying or any health conditions going wrong with me, but that might have been the main problem. Might have been for that I wouldn't have realized, because there wasn't really a day when I was sober, so how would I know? And I think it's like what you said, it wasn't of interest to me when I did see it. It was kind of more of an encouragement for me, but with regards to like what's been said as well, I think there's a lot of people silent out there which don't actually realize. I mean, back when I tried seeking help, it wasn't massively publicized about services and things out there, apart from sort of fellowship groups, which really didn't take my fancy at the minute at that time. But now, I mean, obviously making it aware to all those people that are out there which know that there is something, there are people around which can help you, and people which have got experience, I think it's a great thing.
And cheers, Darren. And Gary, finally to you, what does Alcohol Awareness Week mean to you?
The actual week I never really heard of before. My only experience of alcohol awareness was what time the off license closed in my days, and getting there before it closed. That was my main concern with alcohol awareness. So the only things I've really sort of thought about in the past, which I tried maybe for one day, was stay sober for October and dry Januaries and things, but I never managed to get very far with them. So any kind of awareness now, such as alcohol awareness, certainly during COVID and lockdown, I think it's paramount for people that want to try and get help and get into service.
Cheers.
Right, I think it's my turn to ask a question now. I'll just introduce myself. I'm Willam Dawe, and I'm a peer mentor at Burnley Inspire. And the question that I'm going to ask is, what was your experience with alcohol? So I'll go first. So my experience with alcohol wasn't great from an early age, really. I always liked to go out partying with my friends every weekend. And then maybe 4 years ago, I think it was, I had a bit of a bad news and I started drinking quite heavily. And it got to the point where I was hungover every Monday for work. And what is the best way to cure a hangover is to carry on drinking. Well, the day rolled on and rolled on and rolled on. And then it got to the point where I was actually drinking at work. And I had quite a good job then. I was an auctioneer running an auction house. And my boss got wind of what I was doing, and I eventually lost my job, and then I lost my flat, and then I lost my girlfriend. And it got to the point where I was having seizures regularly, probably once a week. And I was in and out of hospital. And it got to the point where I needed to do something, or else I was only heading one way. So I went to my GP, and she put me through to Inspire. And that's when I got my first lot of help. That was, well, it's coming up to a year that I've been sober. It's a year on the 16th of December. And that was my experience, really. Johnny, could you expand a little bit on your situation?
Yes, my experience was very much the same as Will's in terms of its sort of foundations, its starting point. I was part of a wide social group where alcohol was, you know, the sort of the lifeblood at weekends. And I started to drink in the evenings, and eventually, to get rid of the hangovers, I started to drink during the day. And to cut a fairly long story, about 40 odd years in length, I lost my marriage, my two sons, one of whom still doesn't speak to me after 12 months. The other one I get a lot of support from. I lost the trust, the confidence of my close friends, my family. For a while, I was a rough sleeper. I slept in boats, caravans, fields, lay-bys. And then I turned to drugs, Class A's, which exacerbated the situation to the point where last October I had a stroke and was really very, very seriously ill for a short while. So in hindsight, there was nothing good about alcohol. Short term, occasionally, yes, but it's destroyed huge chunks of my life.
Thank you for that, Johnny. And Craig, could you explain a bit about your situation for me?
Yeah, I started drinking very young as a teenager to give myself confidence, really. Because I was a shy kid, very anxious. That's how it started off. I think when I was younger, I didn't really see my drinking as a problem. I think it was everybody else's problem rather than mine, to be honest. It wasn't till I got older that I started to realise that it was the drink that was causing all my problems. And like Johnny, I've had a few attempts at treatment and recovery and relapse. A big thing for me was when I had my blood tests, I was always told that my liver function tests weren't too bad. And that was a green light to me. If my liver's all right, I can carry on drinking, because I didn't realise that I had the psychological addiction. And eventually it did turn into physical dependence with withdrawal symptoms when I didn't drink. So it has been more or less a lifelong sort of problem for me. But for some reason I could always find another reason why things were going wrong to justify my drinking.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's my journey really up until coming into treatment this time.
Brilliant. Thanks for that, Craig. And Darren, your situation?
Yeah, I started drinking. I was about 17, 18. Prior to that, I was going on to be a pro football from in hindsight until injury took over. It's when I got injury that because I was so tunnel visioned on the sporting career and been told that I wouldn't ever play, probably ever competitively again. I had nothing, but still had that lifestyle. Still deluded, thinking I probably lived the lifestyle like I was a pro. And I was out drinking, and it led on to other substances as well. And like what I think with quite a lot of people, I mean, I never thought I had a problem because everyone else was doing it, and that's how messed up it kind of went. That like most normal folk, they might go out once or twice a month when it's like, yeah, you know, when it's payday, etc. And live a normal, doing normal family things. I was out, and they weren't all doing the same because I had different crowds each day of the week. So it kind of led from that, and then it just got on top and everything, and a lot of things started going wrong. That, to be honest with you, the only way to really describe it is that with my ex-wife, I'm no longer married to my ex-wife anymore, but my relationship with alcohol was in a different way, more intimate than with my wife, in the fact being that whenever I was down, the drink was there. When things were good and celebrating, the drink was there. Whatever mood or situation I was in, it was always there for me. And it took over my life. You know, I lived it. I lived to drink. I slept. I've even breathed it. It was got to the stage where I was literally, I had to go into treatment, and when I went into detox, I was just an empty shell. My gamma GT levels were in the thousands. I could hardly walk. I was done in. My marriage was pretty much over. I was stopped from seeing my children. That was all 18 months ago now. So I'm 18 months dry now, but it was horrendous. You know, everyone tried getting my help, and I just didn't think I had that problem. It was awful. It was awful, and the bank balance massively got affected as well.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Aaron. And finally, Gary, what was your relationship with alcohol like?
My experience was a little bit different because I started taking drugs before I was 20, and I took drugs to fit in with people because I didn't have any mates, and I ended up using alcohol to taper myself off the drugs. So it was quite late in my 20s when I really got into the drinking, when I stopped taking drugs. So I kind of moved from one to the other, but it completely took over my life. I've had a couple of attempts at suicide. From it to try and stop drinking. I went into the same path as you, Will, which was the GP surgery, into service, and then I went into the groups, into the rooms, and things. And I didn't really like that. To be honest with you, at first, I had to work at that to get recovery. But I'm coming up to 5 years now. It's 5 years since I came through service, and life's so much better. And I want to put one point on here about where I'm currently at. I mean, people talk about rock bottom and the things that alcohol strips away. And for most people in our situation, it usually takes pretty much everything, you know, the relationships, marriage, children. I've got a bit of hope. I managed to keep my family unit together. I managed to get on top of mine just before I became homeless, and just before I managed to turn things around, you know. I've got 4 children. I've still got my wife, and I take a bit of hope from that. And I hope that some service users who listen to this, who are perhaps, you know, almost at rock bottom, they can take some hope from my situation, because I've turned it around. You know, I've kept things together.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for that, Gary. And thanks, guys, for such honest stories there. I'll hand you over to Craig. Thank you.
Thanks, Will. Yeah, I'm Craig. I'm also a peer mentor at Burnley. My question for everyone is, what was your experience with seeking support? My experience, as I've mentioned before, it wasn't the first time that I've been into services, but my sort of pathway this time was that I already knew a member of staff at Inspire, and I got in contact with him when I was struggling, and went and attended some of his groups, and he then passed my details on, and that's where the process started. So I then got an initial assessment and a key worker. But I'm aware some people in the group have had a different sort of path into treatment. So can I ask you, Johnny, how you came into treatment this time around?
Yeah, sure. Well, I was aware of Inspire from previous engagement, which started with a GP referral. But this time, it was to a huge extent, it was really the love and compassion of my father who actually got me back into CGL and Inspire. He took me to my early appointments, many of which I have no memory of whatsoever. And as I became more able to function, I went through the EBI course, the Live and Thrive course, and fortunately, this happened, or these events took place just before the first lockdown. So I'd already established a connection within the service. And once that connection was established, the support that I've received after that has been second to none. And, here I am now 10 months clean and dry, and thriving, So seeking support for me, I was helped by my father, but once I was in, they didn't let go of me, which is brilliant. And I didn't want to be let go of. So it was excellent.
Thanks a lot, Johnny. Will, your experiences?
Yeah, sure. This time round, I was in and out of the doctor's surgery, as I said earlier on, and I was just having a general chat with my GP, and she was asking how I was doing with the drinking situation. It had got worse since the last time I'd seen her. So she said, "Have you heard about Inspire? It's something that we could direct you to." So this was just before Christmas last year, and they put me through to Inspire, and I saw Sam worked for Inspire, and it was fantastic. We did everything at the surgery. We did all the paperwork. He filled it all out for me, and then within, I think it was about 3 weeks of my initial appointment, I did a community detox, like a detox at home. That lasted a week, and then from there, I think it was about 4 weeks from that point that I was on the Live and Thrive course, and that set me on the path that I'm on now, really.
All right, thanks a lot for that, Will. Gary?
Similar situations to you guys, really. I tried many times before I went to the GP to try and stop, and I couldn't. I tried. I could have a week here and a week there, and 10 days and things, and I just couldn't do it. And things. What I found with my drinking is, before I got my referral, is people used to say to me it's a progressive illness. It doesn't get better over time. It gets worse. And every time you stop and you start and you stop and you start, each time you go back, it gets a little bit harder every time. So I got my referral from the GP, went into service, into Inspire, did the key worker sessions, I think every other fortnight and things. And then I left service. Things are probably different a few years ago than what they are now. The courses that you guys talk about perhaps weren't there maybe 5 years ago. I'm not very sure. And I went into the rooms, into AA, and I didn't like that at first. But one message as a peer mentor I want to get across right now is I was really hungry for recovery, and I wanted recovery. I'd stopped the drinking. What service did for me for my referral from the GP is there was the accident emergency procedure that I needed to actually stop, and I got that under my belt, and then I started to get into the rooms and do some recovery. And what I got from the rooms perhaps wasn't so much recovery at first, but I got the connections to the people that I needed to, and I've built up a network of friends over the past few years. So I urge people, the service users that listen to this from a peer mentor point of view, stick at it. That's my main message. I think each one of us is unique in our recovery, and you've got to work something that works for you. So even though the referral process is probably similar for most people getting started, making progress, it's all and don't, if you're looking to stop drinking or do it for yourself. Don't do it because the wife asking you to, or family members are doing it. The most important message I want to give is do it for yourself, and then you'll start to change your life and make improvements.
Yeah, thanks a lot for that, Gary. Darren, over to you.
Yeah, my seeking of experience wasn't the best at first. I had a lot of pushing from family members, from my grandparents, which were very good, seeking out the information, and they told me about Inspire, which was over in St Anne's. And I was very reluctant at first to go, for the fact being that I knew some staff at the St Anne's Inspire from a professional point of view, through my career. So my pride got massively in my way at first, but then I temporarily moved to Blackpool, which I went to a different service, and I did a residential detox through them. And I was doing it for the wrong reasons. I was doing it for the people, for family members, and it didn't work. Then I moved back to St Anne's, and I just thought, I've got to get some help. And I swallowed my pride, and I went to Inspire in St Anne's, and the service was it was amazing, to be honest with you. The way I was meet and greeted, I was very much quite fast tracked. I was in with the nurse within about a week and a half, having bloods. She arranged for a home detox, but I think when I got that rapport with my key worker, I said that I don't think that'll work. I'd said, I'd do it for my children, things like that. And I tried doing that before, and it just wasn't the point. But by this stage, I needed some help, because I woke up one morning, I just thought, I'm just going to die with a bottle in my hand. It doesn't matter whether I'm not seeing my children temporarily at the moment or anything like that. This could be just me for the rest of my life. And they just managed to get me a detox and then onto the rehab. But the service was just very good, and my key worker was fantastic. He used to check in with me all the time and everything. And it was down to me. I mean, the support was there, and it's for me, it was, if I just hadn't had that pride and that ego in the first place, it would have been a lot more of an easier route seeking the support.
Yeah, thanks, Darren. Yeah, I think that's it goes to show us 5 of us there with 5 different journeys. So what Gary was saying about everybody's journey being unique, I found that on my initial assessment. I wasn't pushed into doing anything a certain way. I was told that to go away and have a think about what I thought was best for me. So, and I think that's important, that it's an individual thing. So yeah, thanks everyone for that. I'll hand you over now to, I think it's Darren next.
Yeah, are we on what? Where are we now? Right, yeah, I'm Darren. I'm a peer mentor for Pendle. I'm also a naloxone educator, and I'll talk about where I'm at now. I started off about 7 months ago, doing some, which were peer-led training courses, which were extremely good. To be honest with you, I didn't even realise they were actually peers. I thought it was actually staff. That's how good they actually were on there. And I did quite a few courses: stress management, conflict management, and then went on to do the peer mentoring course, which was fantastic as well. Did the naloxone training as well on there after the peer mentoring course. And these things, there's things going on all the time now, different courses and different routes, which I can sort of expand and get knowledge on. It's something which 18 months ago, I never would have thought. There's that much to offer from Inspire. It's just absolutely amazing. There's something every single day to be doing, with regards to recovery, and it's just a great service. And I've just managed to strike it lucky at the right time. But things are just going from good to even better. I didn't think they could get any better than this, but things are improving, and hopefully when lockdown gradually hopefully slows down a bit, I'll be able to go out and about and see some of these service users face to face. I'll pass it over to Will now.
Yeah, where am I at now? Well, say I'm coming up to a year sober next month, 16th of December. I completed the Live and Thrive course, and from there I went on to do the peer mentoring course, which I completed. So I'm now a qualified peer mentor, and from there I'm just about to start a PPA training course, which hopefully will lead on to me teaching the peer mentoring course. So I'll be passing on what I've learned. So it's been absolutely fantastic, and I couldn't have done it without Inspire. They've set my life straight, and it's onwards and upwards. Fingers crossed. All good.
Yeah, that's amazing, Will. And yourself, Craig?
Yeah, I also did Live and Thrive, the same group as Will, and I did the same peer mentor course, which ran alongside my Live and Thrive. So I was doing something 5 days a week, which was brilliant at the time, really good for my recovery. And what I've learned on the peer mentor course and courses I've done since then, like the delivery excellence, it's enabled me to support in groups. So I've been supporting Dennis in the Pendle Live and Thrive, which I really enjoy, because it's great to be able to do Live and Thrive and then go back into it to support other people doing it. And I also support Jackie Scott in the alcohol education group on a Thursday morning, which is a different kind of group, because it's for people at an earlier stage of recovery, but I really enjoy that as well. So a lot's happened since I went into services. I think it was January, and you know, not even a year on, and I'm sort of supporting in groups. So I think I would recommend to anybody getting in, doing some training, and signing up for volunteering, because as well as the reward you get back from helping other people, it's also brilliant at strengthening your own recovery and building your own self-esteem. That's what I've found.
Yeah, that's amazing, Craig. I think you mentioned something quite key there about confidence. I mean, it's amazing the growth in people which I'm seeing. I mean, it's like with me before all this. I mean, we're on camera and video here. You'd never even get me on a video call. I never seem to be off camera anymore. It's amazing. Thanks for that, Craig. Johnny?
Very similar to Will and Craig. I first met them, I think it was in February on Live and Thrive. And then we all went into lockdown. Once I came to Inspire and I was in service, it was clear that Inspire had adapted really, really quickly and professionally to the lockdown, because there were so many opportunities for people like myself to grow, to become slightly more educated, not only about myself, but about other people. So I completed the peer mentor training course with Will and Craig. I've done the delivery excellence course, and with Will, I start the principles of practice of assessment and practice of assessment course tomorrow. So the opportunities for me in terms of growth and increased confidence, my self-esteem, you know, they've been life-changing. I am such a different person to the person that I was 10 months ago. And I'm the person I think that I was supposed to be, that I once was before alcohol and drugs came into my life. So, and I've not only learned about other people, I've learned so much more about myself, that the feeling about my recovery at the moment, that it is of the very best quality. And that's really because of the opportunities I've been offered.
Yeah, that's great, Johnny. That's great. I mean, it's just like what you just said. I mean, it's when we got declared lockdown, it was like quite scary times, thinking, oh no, what's going to happen here? And I think every credit to CGL Inspire, what they've actually done, how they've adapted to it, because it's like as if there isn't a lockdown in a sense. I mean, it's, you know, there's so much available and so much what you can do, and how they've adapted so quickly to it. It's just amazing. Gary?
I mean, likewise to you guys, to Ollie, really. I mean, with there being a gap from me sort of leaving service and doing my own pathway and coming back, coming back and doing the PM mentor training has allowed me to reconnect with where I was a few years ago. And I mean, as doing the PM mentor training, it's brilliant for me because it's allowing me to keep in touch with all the new things that's coming down from Inspire. But I also think as well in the actual title, which is Change, Grow, Live, I don't crave, you know, the things I was doing 5 years ago. People talk about cravings and growth and things. I've just had probably the toughest year in my life, and it's not even COVID related. I've had 2 premature babies this year, born at 25 weeks. Now, 5 years ago, I wouldn't have got through this year, and I would have been drinking because I couldn't have got through the emotions of dealing with that. But my recovery and the things I've done previously, doing the peer mentoring this year, and everything's that helped me to keep a connection, and that's been really important for me this year. And that's how I've managed to keep my emotions in check. And what I've learned is, people talk about the word growth quite a lot. What I've learned through doing this sort of things and various things in the rooms is I've learned to manage my emotions, and the cravings have gone, and life's so much better. I can't emphasize how much better my life is than you know. I've just turned 50, and I'm a better 50-year-old than I was at 40. I'm healthier, you know, mental health, emotions, everything is better, and it's all down to recovery. And that's it. You know, I just won't go back to the chaos of the old days, and that's all through doing this sort of stuff. I think it's the time for me to do the final question for the guys. So what message? I'll do my own message. I wanted to get this across for the service user, which is the message of anyone struggling with alcohol. And I'll ask this question to Will first. You know, what's your message for the service user? Anyone thinking about Alcohol Awareness Week and alcohol? Anything you want to add into it to finish it off?
Yeah, sure. I think my message to anyone that's impacted by alcohol or service users is, if you're struggling, don't be ashamed. Actually go out there and get help. There is help out there. I mean, I wouldn't even pick up the phone a year ago, and look at me now, the things that I'm doing. So if I can do it, then anybody can do it. Just get on the phone to Inspire. We can help you. We're all nice guys. We're not going to be chasing you down and hounding you to do things. We're laid back, easygoing people. Just don't be scared. Just take that first step. And honestly, you won't look back. My life has completely changed, and I couldn't have done it without Inspire. And I'm a better person, a more healthy person for giving up the drinking. And I certainly don't miss it. So please get help if you need it.
Thanks for that, Will. What about your message, Craig?
Yeah, for me, like I mentioned earlier, less than a year ago, I was sat here on my own with nobody to speak to day in, day out. It was the same thing every day. Go to the shop, buy some cans, drink them, go to the shop, but that was it. And in less than a year, I've met so many people, so many positive people, and increased my confidence so much. It's unbelievable in that space of time, and that's all because of the connections I've made in recovery. You guys here today, amongst other people, and I just think that what I've managed to do is, every time I've thought there's something that I can't do, I've tried it, and that's how the confidence is built. So if I take it right back to the time when I was thinking, shall I stop drinking, shan't I, and all those doubts about, well, what am I going to do if I can't have a drink, I would say to people, just look at what your life's like now with alcohol, and what our lives are like now without it, and how much more positive we are about ourselves than we were when we were drinking. And it can be scary at first, but it is worth it in the end, and you will get a hell of a lot of help along the way from Inspire. And there's a lot of people there just like us who have been there and gone through treatment and recovery, so we know how you feel. So yeah, definitely like Will says, just get in touch and take it from there.
I like that point, Craig. I mean, when you're thinking about you might have a drink problem, or when you're thinking about alcohol, it goes back to the awareness. There's a fear, isn't there, that if you stop drinking, that life becomes boring. I can't socialise anymore. I lose a certain network of friends that they will be gone. But like you've said, once you've climbed that hurdle, and you've moved on from that, you end up with a new circle of friends, and you end up with connections like this, and you find that the new connections outweigh the previous connection that you had fear of, and I think that becomes with growth. What about you, Johnny? Have you had anything on that?
Yeah, oh, excuse me. I would say that it's never really too late. I was the tender age of 58 when I had my last, and I hope my very, very last relapse. And yeah, it's not too late. My life has its quality. I connect with people who help me, feel strong, enjoy the day, keep me positive. And I hope that by having that contact with those people, I'm helping them to do the same. And we as men are absolutely terrible at talking about serious issues, and, here there are what, 5 of us here tonight, all men, and, look what it's done for us. It's potentially saved all of our lives. I have a life with hope, and dare I say, on occasions, I actually wake up feeling happy. I haven't done that for a long time. So it's worth every minute of it.
Thanks for that, Johnny. Last but not least, Darren, I think as well, it's safe to say your journey, from what we've done this peer mentoring for a good few months now, and we're starting to sort of get to know each other a little bit. I think your journey, you're looking for getting back into employment again. You're doing the thing with the prisons. You're back in your own place. I mean, it's all positives, isn't it? From every time I listen to you, there's always seems to be something positive coming from some progress made. I think I'm correct in saying that, aren't I?
Oh, definitely. 18 months ago was a completely different story. I thought my life was all over 18 months ago. And in 18 months, my life has just completely changed around. My children are back in my life now. They want their dad. I'm amicable with my wife. We're not together, but things are amicable. The last time, 12 months ago when I spoke to her, it was like a slanging match still. Now we can talk on the phone. Family are all happier. Work prospects are coming up. It's just going from just things on. I mean, the next best thing is continuously happening just from doing all this stuff. And it's like what Johnny mentioned as well, for anyone out there, recovery doesn't discriminate about any age at all, whether you're young or whatever age you are. Recovery is there for anyone. Don't let that pride get in your way like it did. It nearly killed me, pride did. If you think you've got a problem, 99% of the time you probably have. And we're out there. There's a lot of lived experience in Inspire. There will be people which know exactly where you've been or how you're feeling, and we're just here to talk and try and get you through as best we can. Because literally this life now, it's like that what's saying in the fellowship, it's like life beyond wildest dreams. I thought that was a myth, and it's true. So there is always someone at the end of the phone to speak and help.
Thanks for that, Darren. I think we've covered that off, and I think we'll hand back over to our peer mentor coordinator for a final comment on the peer mentoring and what we've done.
Well, I just want to say thank you to every single one of you, Johnny, Will, Craig, Darren, Gary. You've inspired me tonight. So I can just imagine what impact you'll have on the people who might listen to what you've had to share tonight. Not taking away anything from your experiences, but where you are right now, you guys have had an amazing journey. You've dedicated the time of the past X amount of months to be able to not just have a positive impact on your own lives, but a positive impact on other people's lives. Some things that you are going to be involved in going forward. Johnny and Will, you're going to be delivering the Peer Mentor program. Craig, you're going to be doing the Smart Recovery for Inspire, and you're already involved in alcohol service users. Darren, you're out there right now already, becoming a peer-to-peer naloxone educator and saving lives that way. Gary, you've given so much time in supporting others, and you're going to be giving so much time in supporting people who have had a similar journey to yourselves. You're going to be part of a welcome group, which I'm going to use this platform right now to raise awareness of. During Alcohol Week, the fact that you're going to be holding a welcome group for our alcohol service users. So people who have been in your position, who are scared to come to the service, who have never been to the service before, maybe been relapsed and coming back to the service, they will get to meet every single one of you in our welcome groups from December onwards, where you can be there to guide them, to support them, and speak to them about your experiences, and then hopefully get them to the stage that you're at right now. So from me and from Inspire, from senior management all the way to everybody that works at Inspire, I'd like to thank you for all the time that you've given, the support that you're going to be giving our service users, and everything that you're going to be involved in. So thank you. Thank you for being part of tonight's conversation. Have a great evening.
Pleasure, Mo.
Cheers, Mo.
Thanks,
Thank
mate.
you.
Cheers.